Headlines most affecting Abbotsford this week. After 2 years, a guilty plea in an Abbotsford homicide. Correction officers taking to the streets to protest violence towards them. It's the worst kept political secret. Mike Jong wants to be an MP. And the Abbotsford Canucks want a Rocky Mountain high in the playoffs. We have that in sports. Our guests this week include the organizers of the 45th annual Harrison Festival of the Arts. All right, Abbotsford, let's get started. An Abbotsford man has now pleaded guilty in relation to a 2022 homicide. Back in July of that year, Abbotsford police received a call of an assault at a residence on Eastview Street. First responders attended the scene and located a 45-year-old woman identified as Kamaljit Sedhu. Her husband was detained at the time. He has now entered a guilty plea. Members of the Union of Federal Correctional Officers held a rally in Abbotsford last Saturday to denounce the increase in violence against correction officers and then the lack of accountability. From their release, and I'm quoting, "Our officers are routinely subjected to physical and verbal assault. It's not uncommon for them to leave their shifts with physical and psychological injuries. Reports of violence in the Fraser Valley institutions are literally a weekly occurrence, considering the amount of media releases that are sent out. So what is not clear is whether that violence is inmate to inmate or if it involves corrections officers. Federal institutions in the Valley include Kent Mountain, Pacific Institution, Mission, and Alouette." Abbotsford Police Department Major Crime Unit in the preliminary stages of an investigation into a suspicious death of a 63-year-old man. He was transported to hospital on April the 9th after being discovered and seemingly in the midst of medical distress between Sunnyside and Old Yale Road. Now, investigators are appealing to the public who may have been in the area on April the 9th between 3 and 7 and may have information or maybe some dash cam footage. He was the former BC United and Liberal MLA for Abbotsford West, and in an announcement in February, the longtime Abbotsford West representative, Mike Jong, explained that while he would be serving out his term provincially, he was not going to rule out a move to, say, go with the federal Conservatives. Jong called a possibility of moving an opportunity, if it happens, after serving as an MLA for 30 years. Well, fast forward to April 17th. He made it official. He is in the running for the federal Conservative nomination for the new riding of Abbotsford South Langley. The next federal election, by the way, it's not expected until the fall of next year, 2025. Women and children facing domestic violence will have access to new culturally appropriate supports to get them out of harm's way and rebuild their lives as the province is expanding supports in a number of BC cities. Now, this includes Archway in Abbotsford. Now, they're going to receive $100,000 for their domestic violence unit. To align with the province of BC's new housing legislation, the City of Abbotsford is undertaking an update to their zoning bylaw. They're looking for community input as a key component of the process. This change will impact some 22,000 existing properties in Abbotsford. The deadline for your submissions is May the 17th. Harrison Festival of the Arts having its 45th anniversary in July. This year's lineup is set. It's on the website. There is ticket information, and we're going to be talking with some of the organizers of this year's show in just a moment. The province is contributing as much as $25 million to help Vitalis expansion to a 143,000 square foot facility in Abbotsford, and construction is set to begin this summer as part of a clean and competitive blueprint for BC Industrial Future Plan. Basically, it's a new plant that'll support milk producers in the region and create as much as 100 additional new jobs on site. Coming up, the baby Canucks heading for Colorado. Sports is next. This week continues with what's turned into an annual tradition. Andrew Hillhouse, Brian Cutler, the Harrison Festival of the Arts. Guys, 45th. And I remember 5 years ago, just before we got into COVID, the 40th, are we going to make it? Here we are 5 years later. Healthier, I think. Am I calling it right? Or, I mean, we've all lost a little bit.
We've made it through. We made it through, and yeah, we're in pretty good shape. You know, we got a future ahead of us, I think, and things are going okay. Yeah.
The roster came out last week. And it's putting you guys on the spot, but the artists that you are saying you would like to have everyone go, you haven't heard this guy on the radio. Check this person out or check this band out. Who are your favorites? Or I shouldn't say favorites. Who are the ones to look for?
I'm going to encourage people to come on the Wednesday night, check out the midweek artists. Yeah. Catherine Tickell and the Darkening from Northern England. She's a great artist. It's a 5-piece band. She's played with people like Sting, Alan Parsons, but she's a traditional musician, and she's from Northumbria, Northeast England. She's on Wednesday night, and also a great, exciting flamenco act on Thursday night called Cairo. And they sold out at the Cultural Center last year, and so we're bringing them back to this area. Anybody that you thought, hey, we gotta check this out?
I think there's a band on the last Sunday, the 21st at 5:00. They're called Making Movies. They're not very well known out here, but they're a real rockin' Latin band, and I'm really looking forward to that one. So
the other thing that is always very cool, I mean, we have the outdoor shows, but the kids shows. For the outdoor shows, and weather always cooperates because it's in July. Anybody we want to keep an eye on, or just flood the park?
That Making Movies, that's a great, that's one. But we've also got a really cool band on Friday evening called Czar Electric from, they're French, and it's two sort of traditional North African instruments and then electronics, and it's something that would just be great for dancing on the beach,
And the kids show, the kids day, that's on the Wednesday?
Yep. Wednesday the 17th, yeah.
Anybody in particular, or just show up and have some fun and dance?
Obviously just show up and have fun. There's all kinds of activities and things to do, and we got Bob's and Lolo coming this year, which is exciting. So they came a few years ago. I can't remember how many years, but they're lots of fun and great with the kids.
One thing that we were talking off camera, it's the uncomfortable subject of paying the bills, as getting the sponsors, and you're still, even though we're a couple of months out, you're still looking for sponsors.
Absolutely. If there are any businesses that want to help, help us out, and sponsorship's more and more important because the funding's, the government funding and stuff sort of stays where it is generally. Yeah. But as everybody knows from their, household incomes and expenses, everything's getting more and more expensive. And it's just like that at the festival. Just
travel costs. You get to Vancouver, then you got to get to Harrison.
Yep. Yeah. And artists need more, just like the rest of us do, and everybody else.
Yeah. Nobody works for free, and you still have to pay the rent. Yeah. So when it comes to information, website, social media, you're all over it.
Absolutely. Yep. Our website is great. It's got all the information on there right now. Another good way to keep in touch is to sign up for a newsletter. So I send out newsletters every 2 or 3 weeks. Usually, and it keeps everybody up to speed on what's going on, and when little updates come up, we always get on there. So that's the best way to keep in touch. So,
Andrew Hillhouse, Brian Cutler, as always, I'm pumped. And the dates for this year?
July 12th to 21st.
And everything's up on the web. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
You're watching This Week. abbyTV Sports, the Abbotsford Canucks in Loveland, Colorado for round 1 of the Calder Cup playoffs. It is a best-of-3 series against Colorado. Here's the catch. All 3 games are in the Rocky Mountain State. Abbotsford doesn't get any, so it's the 24th, the 26th, and if necessary, the 28th. UFV baseball season well underway. This means the team travels to Edmonton this weekend to play Edmonton Collegiate. Next Tuesday, they're off to the island to play Victoria Golden Tide. Mission City Outlaws of the Pacific League have an opportunity that you don't really see on social media for a league of their standard. They're looking for a head coach. If you're interested and you got what it takes, contact the team. In a recent editorial from DriveSmart BC, there was a conversation about driving a golf cart on a city street. Abbotsford was mentioned. Now, do you really need insurance and a license? And in a word, yes. Golf cart is a motor vehicle under the Motor Vehicles Act. That means in order to be on the highway, the golf cart has to be licensed, insured, and carrying numbered plates. If 2 plates are issued, one's got to be on the front, one in the back, and in addition, it must weigh less than 815 kilograms. It's got to have 3 wheels, not 2, and it can't have any more than 4 occupants, and no booze. Coming up, Cari with the weather. abbyTV weekend weather. So, Cari, will I be able to mow the lawn this weekend?
Thanks, Don. Yes, you could mow the lawn if you had a lawn, but it will be clumpy. Abbotsford weather this weekend does not look great. There's an 80% chance of rain, with temperatures only getting up to 13 degrees and getting down to about 5 or 6 overnight. Next week isn't much better either, with a 60% chance of rain for the rest of the week. I have given similar forecasts all month long and have been wrong pretty much 75% of the time, so really, don't trust me or Environment Canada. I just report it as I see it. Fun fact, a 7-day forecast can accurately be predicted about 80% of the time, and a 5-day forecasts are only accurate about 90% of the time. So yes, this time I am below average. Back to you, Don.
Thanks, Cari, and thank you for watching. If you have a local news story that you'd like us to report on, you can always send us a note to news@chilltv.ca. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. Got to remind you, do your taxes. Next Tuesday's the deadline. I'm Don Lehn.